Our fifth game on this segment is one of the most famous short games ever played. White was Paul Morphy, the American chess genius from the 19th century.
White plays e4. Black responded with e5.
No news so far.
Knight to f3. d6.
This is the so-called Philidor opening.
White continues with d4.
White puts 2 pawns in the center. Best thing to do if you're allowed.
Black plays bishop to g4.
That's a small mistake already. Just like in our second game where we saw the legal's mate game, it was a mistake, so it is here. From black perspective, it's better to play either knight d7 or to trade on d4.
White plays d takes e5.
Black has just made a pin with his last move, and white is trying to win a pawn.
Black counters with bishop takes f3.
If black wants to avoid losing a pawn right away, he had no choice but do this trade. Let's see what would happen after pawn takes pawn. Naturally, white is not allowed to capture the pawn right away because black would capture the queen to checkmate. However, white has an intermediate move. Now we already know what's an intermediate move. That's when you make a move in between before you would continue with what you normally would do. And in this case, that means trading the queens, forcing black to take back, and then already the pawn is for free to take. Let's go back to the position where black captured the knight with the bishop.
And white took the bishop with the queen.
Queen captured back.
Black plays d takes e5.
Okay, so far we have a pretty symmetrical position. Pawns are identically placed on both sides. However, black gave up his pair of bishops, so that's already an advantage for white.
White continues with bishop to c4.
These type of moves, when you develop and attack right away something, are usually very good. Here, white threatens with a checkmate and also prepares castling at the same time.
Knight to f6.
Black develops and defends against the checkmate threat on f7. However, this allows a double attack. Therefore, it was better to defend the f7 pawn with the queen.
White plays queen to b3.
All of a sudden, the queen swings over to b3, has a deadly attack of threatening to take the pawn, and when the king gets out, black did not just lose a pawn, but also would get checkmated right away with queen to e6. So definitely black needs to avoid this, not to lose the game right away.
Queen to e7.
This move protects the pawn, but only one of them.
Knight to c3.
This is an interesting moment in the game. In those days, when this game was played, somewhere in the 1850s, people wanted to checkmate as soon as possible. And white could have won a pawn here by, of course, capturing the pawn, but did not want to allow the queen b4 check, which would allow trading the queens and let the game last for quite a while in an endgame. Objectively speaking, probably queen b7 is just as good, if not even better, than what white played. White developed the knight, protecting his own pawn, and still the threat to the b7 pawn is there.
And black plays c6.
Black defended the pawn with the queen.
And white continues with bishop to g5.
White developed the final piece and makes a pin over the knight.
Black responds with b5.
Now, this is already an over-ambitious move. Black should have been a lot more cautious, probably moving the queen away so the bishop can finally develop and then maybe castle. Of course, it has its own problems, that white is able to ruin black's pawn structure by bishop takes, and then pawn needing to take back, and then the pawn structure is not nice. b5 is already a serious mistake. Allows white's beautiful combination.
White captures the pawn by playing knight takes b5.
This is the beginning of a series of combinations to win the game.
C takes b5. Bishop takes b5 check. Black defended the check with knight b, d7.
Before we go on with the game, let's just stop for a moment. What would have happened if black does not move his knight into the pin, but moves the king out of the check? In that case, white trades the bishop for the knight in order to free the d5 square for his queen, and now either pawn or queen takes back, the queen comes to d5 with a check, and the rook on a8 will be history. Knight bd7.
White castle to the queen side.
So now white fully completed development, all the pieces are developed, and the king is in safety, and the attack is going strong. Also, white is right away threatening to capture the knight on d7, which is for free because the other knight is pinned.
Black defended the knight with rook to d8.
Black had no other better move.
Now white made a sacrifice with rook takes d7.
This is the second sacrifice so far in the game.
Black captured back with rook takes d7.
That's the best move for black.
White played rook to d1.
White is using the pin. The rook, black rook, cannot get away because the bishop is pinning it, and now white again is threatening to just pick up a free rook.
Queen to e6.
Black is hoping to trade queens and at least get to an endgame.
Bishop takes d7 check.
This is a very important moment in the game, because if white, let's say, trades queens first and trades the bishop for the knight, white will still have a winning position, but the game will last a bunch of more moves. However, as you'll see, after bishop takes, black will lose right away.
Knight takes d7.
This is a beautiful moment, and I'd like you again take a break and try to figure out what's the winning move now for white.
Queen to b8 check.
Another beautiful move, the third in the series of sacrifices. This check forces black
Knight takes b8.
to capture the queen.
And now the final checkmate, rook to d8.
It's a real beautiful ending to this game. If you look at the position, black has his queen, rook, knight, bishop, while white only has a bishop and a rook, and yet black is in checkmate. What went wrong in this game for black? Well, again, black put several of his pieces on unprotected squares. That's one thing. The second thing, he forgot to develop his king side. The king never got to castle. He made too many pawn moves that were unnecessary. Also, early in the game, he gave up his pair of bishops. So all these things combined caused the damage.